All right. So defense, I have to say that the co-DC for Rutgers, and it looks like, when there's a co-DC, it looks like there's a main one and a lesser one.
Mm-hmm.
The main DC for Rutgers appears to be Rob Smith. Rob Smith has been all over as a DC, from Arkansas to Minnesota to Rutgers to Duke and now back to Rutgers. And he has not done well really anywhere. Smith infamously got fired mid-season after fielding one of the worst Gopher defenses in living memory. However, as soon as Smith was fired, the defense immediately began playing at a top 25 level, which persisted in the following years as well. Smith was an albatross holding the Gophers down, and that's why he got fired mid-season by PJ Fleck, a guy who doesn't like firing anybody. Rob Smith, runs overcomplicated schemes, which demand too much of the players, which causes guys to play slow. And in football, playing slow is death. You don't always have to be right in football, but you have to be fast. I think it's the height of hubris that Greg Schiano thinks he can give Rob Smith such an important job, and it's just going to be okay. And it's just going to be okay because it's his defense, and it's his baby, and so it's going to be fine. Zach Sparber will be co-DC. My guess is that's in case Smith doesn't excel at calling the plays. They can go to Sparber if Smith is a mess. I feel like he's an insurance policy for Greg Schiano. It's also possible Greg Schiano would call the defense himself if Smith struggles early in the year. I could see that. I could see him either firing Smith or not firing him, but just demoting him and saying, I'm going to call plays. I'm Greg Schiano. I'll call the plays now. So, man, do you have thoughts on the Rob Smith thing? I just can't believe I can't believe there's a Big Ten team who has him employed as a coordinator. It blows my mind.
And dude, you and I are on the same page. We were both there. We saw how horrible it was. We experienced it, and
they couldn't, dude. I saw guys, it looked like Bo Pelini against Wisconsin every game. There were guys they couldn't, when guys went in motion, they had no idea what to do. You'd see guys pointing at different ways, and then the gap, then they'd run a simple play and there'd be nobody in the gap and it would go for a 50-yard touchdown. And you're like, why? Like, this didn't look hard, and it wasn't. His guys couldn't make reads.
Is this Schiano trying to be like Nick Saban rehab? Like,
yes, it is.
Like, that's what this is to me.
It's the Greg Schiano school for wayward boys.
Yes.
Oh man,
you just can't convince me that Rob Smith is all of a sudden going to turn into a great defensive coordinator.
No.
Dude, I think that Schiano is just like, he's offering him a job. Maybe he feels bad for him, something like that. But Schiano's going to be the one calling the plays, man. Like,
do you think so? I don't think so, man.
No?
I don't.
Okay.
Don't you think he would say, well, we got to pay attention to media days then?
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm going to tell, you know what? I'm going to get in Ryan Burns' ear on his website, and I'm going to be like, you need to ask Greg Schiano who's calling the plays on defense. I need to know. I have to know. We got to find out, or if we can find out anyone who we know going to media days, maybe JR's going this year.
Yeah,
if whoever's going to media days,
yeah.
or Big Ten Ted, anyone who's going to media days that we know, we're going to be like, you got to ask Schiano who's calling the plays on defense. I got to know. Because I think it's Rob Smith. Because if he was calling the plays himself, like when Ryan Day took the play call, would call his own plays, we knew in advance. Everyone said, "Oh yeah, Ryan, I'm calling the plays."
Yeah.
So like, I gotta know. So I'm really curious to see, because I bet it's Rob Smith to start with at least.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of how long that lasts.
Sure.
So the good news on the D line is they have some continuity from last year with returning contributors Zaire Angoy and Kashawn Griffin. They're expected to step into starting roles after working as bit players last year. The DN should theoretically be better with transfers Eric O'Neill from James Madison and Bradley Weaver from Ohio University. It's really important that Rutgers be able to generate a pass rush with a four-man front, because the secondary is entirely new.
Mm-hmm.
You want to sit that inexperienced secondary and those linebackers back in coverage most of the time, rather than having them blitzing and having to go man, in my opinion. Because I think that's dangerous with a bunch of guys when you don't know how good they are or how well they mesh as a unit. So I think it's an absolute key that Rutgers can get pressure with their front four. And if they can't, I think they're going to be in a lot of trouble. That brings us to the secondary. 5 new secondary starters. Yikes. In Penn State transfer Cam Miller alongside returners El Shady Salam and Bo Masco. UNLV transfer Jet Elid will join returner Kai Sanders at safety. And then the linebackers are in flux too. Dariel Diabome is set to start after being thrown into the fire a year ago, but there are lots of young guys and a new position coach in the co-DC, Zach Sparber. So, I mean, it's a little bit like UCLA.
Mm-hmm.
The linebackers and the secondary are totally inexperienced.
Yeah.
And I think in the first month of the season, you're going to see that.
Yeah.
I think it's going to show up. And I think that's going to be a problem for them early on, until those guys get acclimated. I mean, that's a lot, Greg Schiano runs a complicated system. It's not, and now Rob Smith is the guy teaching it to him, and you've got 5 new stars in the secondary. I don't know, man. That doesn't seem like a great recipe in the first month of the season to me.
I mean, dude, and not to go back to, to go back to this again, Schiano, we just called him a great coach and a smart guy.
He is a great coach.
This is a huge risk.
Yes.
This is the Nico Maliava of UCLA. Like, this is, to me, is like you're taking a massive risk on a very important piece of your team. And I don't know, man. It could either work out okay or it could blow up in your face.
Either way. And we don't know.
No.
We're not going to know until like a few games in, 3 or 4.
Yep.